Kevin. Do. Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going? You hear me?
I can. Let me move to your slides real quick, and then I will go into the back ends, man. How's your guys' morning been over there in New York? Doing good?
Good. It's the I'm not sure if you know about the air quality. It's been weird.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona has its own because of our fires, but I know it's a little bit different probably in New York.
Yeah, it's like you have to wear a mask if you go outside. So
Oh my gosh. Well, we're so excited you were able to still make it, man. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you so we can keep on track on time. But if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll be on the back. All right, everybody, without further ado, I provide you guys Kevin's great expertise on his experience of getting into cyber.
thank you, appreciate it. Hope you guys could hear me. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm sorry, I apologize for being late. I was having some technical issues on my end. My computer was going crazy for some reason, but yeah, I mean, the important thing is that I'm here and I show up on time. All right, I had to show up on time. Anyway, um, so my name is Kevin. You call me as Kevtech IT support on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. So um, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I tell you Andrew to go to the next slide or I go to the next slide. There we go. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So I've been in IT for over a decade. Um, I actually work for the NYPD volunteer. So if you guys don't know, I did do NYPD. I did NYPD for about 4 years, give or take. I work with Boots to Books, which is a company that is owned by Peter Klein. They help veterans get into IT. I said I have a YouTube channel. Um, I've been interviewed on a lot of different YouTube channels, and I'm on different YouTube channels, different Discords. I actually worked with in the past. I did an interview with Mike Myers from CompTIA. I actually know Professor Messer. Um, Funny enough, I met you guys will be like, wait, what? I met Network Chuck last year. I was hanging out with him at DEF CON. So, but my background is just it's a very long background. Um, like I said, I've been in IT for a while, and I work cybersecurity now, but I started in help desk. Like help desk is like one of the things that no, I don't know. I like IT support. I like help desk, and I did customer service for a while, so like I really enjoy that. Um, yeah, so that's literally my background. Uh, Follow you, Angel, for the next slide. Sorry. Yeah, so I started out in fast food, and my background is fast food. I worked in restaurant for almost roughly 12 years. So I did Qdoba. I worked at Chipotle. I worked at 16 Handles. Like I worked at a lot of restaurant. Like I worked pizzeria. I worked in an Italian restaurant. I've been in restaurants for a very long time, and when it comes to customer service, you guys know like I worked at Chipotle and Qdoba, and um, oh, I'm not gonna pay extra for that for the guacamole, blah blah blah, and it's just like customer service stuff, right? You gotta have patience for that, and people get mad at you, like, oh, I'm not paying extra for that, or it's just you gotta have a lot of patience. And I worked at I worked at Qdoba as a lot of people don't know this, but when I worked at I see infosec Pat, hey Pat, I worked at Qdoba, um, and I was very surprised that I became a manager at Qdoba because I worked in fast food, and when I did fast food, they made me a manager, so I was a manager at Qdoba. I was like one of the youngest managers at Qdoba, and I had fun. I really enjoyed working fast food. I had a really good team. Um, Obviously, when you're a manager or you work in management position, you lead by example. So like I worked and I led by example. I'm not just like ordering people around. You can't do that as a manager. You actually you delegate, but also you work, right? So when I was a manager, I did both. I delegated and I worked, and Never had any issues with any of the employees that I work with. They really liked me. I got along with the team. Never had any issues. And being in fast food, that really helped me with having good customer service, having patience, having good teamwork, and having empathy. And I brought those things with me when I got into IT. Like when I got my first job in IT, I went and learned about IT support because it's a long story. So like if we, I'm gonna bug you to go to the next slide, Andrew. Sorry. Yeah. So when I first started IT, and this is gonna be like a long story, like a really long story. I'm not gonna, I don't want to bore you guys to death, but when I first started IT, um, people don't know. Like I literally asked for help. I see InfoSec Pat is here, and I know InfoSec Pat, so I know InfoSec Pat. Like you, I know, kind of relatable to him. Like he asked for help. People were trolling him. It was the same thing with me. Like I asked for help, and people were trolling me. Like I got trolled on social media. So I was on Reddit. I literally asked for help, and people were trolling me. Like people were like, "Oh yeah, like you're dumb, you're stupid." I don't want to use these words. Well, that's basically what happened to me on social media when I first started. When I was on Reddit, oh yeah, you can't. I don't know why you're trying to work IT. Blah blah blah. Like, I got all this like negative comments on social media. That was like this is like before I started my YouTube channel. So I was trying to ask for help. I was trying to get more information about how to get into IT, and people were like kind of extremely rude to me. Unfortunately, I didn't have the best experience trying to get into IT. So people were being mean and trolling me on social media. That was like when I first started, and I got super lucky because if you guys could see like here on this, I have my gaming computer right over here. I don't know if you guys could see it, but I'm a really big computer guy. I geek out on computer games. I love computer games. I love my video games, and man, I'm a big advocate of video games. Like I have Counter Strike Source, I have Day of Defeat, I have Age of Empires, I have Left 4 Dead 2, I have Payday 2. Like I'm a big video games. Like I love I love Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast. I have the console games. Um, I was playing Mario Kart. You know, you guys know about Mario Kart, GoldenEye, Diddy Kong Racing, Super Smash Brothers. Like, I'm a really big video game, Metal Gear Solid, Twisted Metal. So like, I was really big at video games. You're like, well, what does this have to do with IT, right? So I was playing video games online. Like I was a big fan of Counter Strike Source. So I play video games online, and long and behold, I got super lucky because the guys that I play video games with, they were like retired. They were retired veterans. These are veterans that came from the war in Iraq. So I played video games with the guys from the war in Iraq, and we use Discord. Not Discord, sorry. We use Ventrilo. No, I said Discord. We use Ventrilo. I have my Discord open over here. We use Ventrilo. So Ventrilo is an app that you could have a voice conversation with somebody else. So I was on Ventrilo, and I had a conversation with the veterans that play video games with me, and they told me about, oh, go get your A plus, and I'm like, the A plus is like, what was that, like a grade? Or no, that's a certification, Kevin. Oh, okay. So I went, I got my CompTIA A plus, and I learned about the A plus. So I didn't know about A plus, I didn't know about CompTIA, I didn't know about Network Plus or Unity Plus. I had a friend that he actually works for the White House, and he told me about the A plus. I didn't know that was a thing. So this guy is a veteran. He works for, and have these other guys that are veterans that will retire from the war in Iraq, and they told me about CompTIA. They told me about certifications, and I actually got lucky because what happened with me was when I got like lucky, not lucky. You know, I don't know how to describe it, but basically, I had my last job was working at a frozen yogurt place, and they had layoffs. So I got hit with layoffs. I was like, oh shoot, I got hit with layoffs, right? So they had layoffs. I got let go of my fast food job, and I had the option like, oh, what do you want to do, Kevin? Do you want to collect unemployment, or do you want to like go study at a school? And I'm like, there's like you have the option for school. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, you go to school, and that's where I found Brooklyn Adult Learning Center, and Brooklyn Adult Learning Center, they do your GED, they do nursing, and they do CompTIA A plus certification training with vouchers and everything. So I went to Brooklyn Adult Learning Center, and I literally got my A plus after that. So that's literally what happened. So I left my job working at fast food because obviously we had layoffs, and I ended up getting a job working for the Department of Education. But before I did that, I actually did A plus training. So I did A plus training. I got into a school. We were doing A plus training, and then when I was in that school, my teacher really liked like how, like I was like very curious because when I was younger, and this is super random because I'm like, wait, what? When I was younger, um, me and my brother, we found a broken PS2 outside in the street, and we fixed it. I fixed the PlayStation 2. So I'm really good with fixing stuff. So I was like curious about how that works. So actually, we ended up fixing two. We found two broken PlayStation 2s, and we fixed it because I don't know. We're curious about it, and I always been good with like fixing stuff. Even before I got my first job in IT, I had my own business cards. So like I used Vistaprint, and I made business cards, and I was fixing the iPhone screen. Like the iPhone screen was cracked. I would replace the cracked screens for the people that asked me for help. Like, oh, my screen is all messed up. Like, that's perfect. I know how to fix it. I can fix that for you. I got you. So I was curious about that. So like I was fixing iPhone screens, changing batteries on the iPhone screens, and helping people with their computers. I was doing virus removal, and before I even got a job in IT, I was doing virus removal. I was traveling like in the city in New York, fixing people's computers, helping them with their printers, helping them with their desktops, helping them with their laptops. So that was like way before I got a job in IT. And then when I was at the school, my teacher, he really liked me, and he told me to make a video on what I learned. And this is where I got my YouTube channel started. He said, "Oh, you're pretty good at teaching. You should make a video on YouTube. Talk about like what you learn or what you know how to do, blah blah blah." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna do that." So I remember I made my first video on YouTube, which was how to install a printer if you have a Mac or a Windows machine. And that video got a lot of views actually. I was like, "Oh, okay, got a lot of views. It's pretty cool." So that was my first video. And then from there, I started making more and more and more videos on YouTube. And going back to school, I was in school, and when I was in school, I was upgrading computers. So my teacher, instead of hiring someone, he hired. Well, he didn't hire me, but he gave me the option to help with upgrading machines from Windows XP to Windows 7. So I was in charge of that. So I literally upgraded all the machines from Windows XP to Windows 7 at my school that I studied the A plus, and it was pretty funny because like we would upgrade like some machines would like you will upgrade the machine, and then some of them would upgrade to Windows 7, but then like some of them would not upgrade, they'll get a blue screen of death. I'm like, why is this machine getting a blue screen of death? It's supposed to work. And I asked my teacher, and he said, "Oh no, it's not gonna work on that machine." I'm like, really? Yeah, it's not gonna work. So we're upgrading like Windows XP to 7, and then like some machines I had to change the memory because it would get a blue screen of death because of the memory. Some machines would get a BSOD because of the hard drives. It was like, all right, or the motherboard's all messed up. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna figure it out. It's fine. But I did that. That's literally what I did when I when before I got into IT. This is a long story. Before I got into IT, I did all that, and then I remember trying to land my first job in IT, and I talked to my teacher or my professor, and he's like, "Hey, Kevin, like, if you want to get into IT, I have something for you. I have a proposition for you. How about if I invite the hiring manager to come and interview you, and then if they like you, they'll hire you. I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. So I remember I showed up with a suit, a tie, and I went to the school, and then the hiring manager for the Department of Education, he's actually was there, and then he interviewed me, and he said, hey, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Tell me what you like to do. What do you do? What are your hobbies? Tell me why we should hire you. Things like that. Windows on Mac. No, 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 no. Windows of Mac. No, 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 no. So I I did a video on how to install printers on a Mac OS X machine and on a Windows machine. Those was my first video. But yeah, so I had this guy interview me, and I remember I remember doing the interview, and I got hired for my first job because of that. But this is the reason why the slide, it says like I learned fundamentals, because when I first started IT, when I was brand new, like I'm talking about like brand new, like I didn't know about, like some people that are in IT, they went to college and did computer science or information systems, or they did something that's IT related. I don't have that background. I have a fast food background, so it's like for me to learn about computers was super hard because I didn't know what memory was. I didn't know what a hard drive is. I didn't know what a motherboard is. I didn't even know what an operating system is. I didn't even know how to uninstall an application. Like certain things I didn't know how to do. Like it's just not easy for me when I was brand new when I first started. So like I did the A+, learned the basics, learn about operating systems, learn about networking, learn about hardware, software, learn about troubleshooting. I didn't know about you could go on regedit and change the registry. I didn't know you could change things on the C drive, like certain things I didn't know. So like I learned all that because of the school, and I learned all that because I got my A+, and I learned about the fundamentals of IT. And yeah, that's some of the story, and I'm gonna get more and more into that. I'm gonna bug you to go to the next slide. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so like I said I learned fundamentals, learned about the A+, learn about fixing computers. I straight from my teacher, learn about how to master fundamentals. And my background is interesting because people ask me like, oh, so you got your first job? Like, what did you do your first job? I worked for the Department of Education, so I was a field technician. And when I was a field technician, I was traveling all five boroughs, like Queens, Manhattan, you know, Brooklyn, just traveling all the boroughs of New York. I had a book bag with me, and I had computer parts. So like I had computer parts, I had memory, hard drive, motherboards. I had pieces for printers, like maintenance kit. And you see me like running around like this, the whole five boroughs of New York, fixing computers. That was literally my first job in IT, and it was interesting. It was very interesting. Like I didn't have a car, so I had to do public transportation. So that's why like I'm laughing about it because I had to go like everywhere, and it was like, oh my goodness, I was traveling everywhere. So I didn't have a car, so they had me go everywhere with the public transportation, and that was literally my first job. So like, I did that, and um after that, I got a job working as a Mac repairman. So I was a Mac repair guy for a Mac. It was not a Mac store. I worked for second a company, like a company that's like they have like the rights to be a Mac store, like a third party kind of deal. So I worked for a third party Mac store, and I was a Mac repair guy for that store. So I fixed MacBooks, MacBook Airs, iPads, iPhones, because I was Apple certified. So I had my ACMT, which is Apple Certified Macintosh Technician certification. I got that certification from the school, and I was doing Mac repair. So I did Mac repair at that place. I did that for a couple of months, and then I left that job, and I got my first job working at a MSP company. So I got a job at an MSP company, which MSPs is a managed service provider, and it's not your regular IT support because a lot of companies do IT support differently. A lot of companies will say, "Oh, I was like, yeah, oh, so I need to I need to talk about that. So that's literally how I got started in IT, and then in give me a second. Yeah, so that's literally how I got started in IT, and I got into MSP. Then I worked at financial services. I'm from financial services. From financial services, I actually got to cybersecurity, and I got my job through cybersecurity through networking, and that's literally how I got my first job in cybersecurity through networking. So like anyone watching this, that's how I got my job in cybersecurity. So I got a job in cybersecurity through networking. You're probably wondering how did I get that job, or how did I get into all these other jobs? So like it's a long story. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long, but use electrical that didn't exist back then, bro. All right, you gotta understand. I've been in IT for over a decade. That didn't exist back then. I didn't even we're not even allowed to use regular bikes when I worked for the Department of Education. But um, I went to I went from the MSP company. So I worked at an MSP company, and I remember doing the MSP company, and that job was interesting because if you guys ever get a job at an MSP company, I'm talking about like MSP, not like a regular IT support, like regular IT support or regular help desk. You're just doing password reset, maybe some Active Directory stuff a little bit here, maybe resetting a password, unlocking an account. That's it. But if you work at an MSP company, when I worked at an MSP company, I was like, oh damn, I have access to connect to a server and make changes in group policy. I have access to add an AA record and the IP address, and I actually have access to do things on the DHCP server. Wow, I didn't know I could do that. So when I worked at an MSP company, I had access to all these things. I had access to Pablo Alto to make some changes there. I had access to Barracuda to like blacklist, whitelist domains. I had access to a lot of different things that I didn't think they would give me access to. I had access to Cisco Call Manager. So like someone had their Cisco phone out at a phone line on their phone. So yeah, MSP companies is like I was blown away with how much I learned at MSP companies because it's not your regular IT support. So I learned a lot at MSP company. So I did that for a bit, and I remember when I did that, I wanted to get a different job. So I ended up working and getting hired at Blackstone Group. So I this is for you guys watching this video. I got my job at Blackstone Group because of recruiting firms. So I reached out to recruiting firms. A bunch of recruiting firms asked me if I was looking for another job, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I kind of am looking for another job. Like, oh, you are, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I ended up I ended up getting a job at Blackstone Group, and I got that job because of the recruiting firm, and they interviewed me, and the interview was relatively easy. I'm not even joking about it because it's super easy, because all the tech stack that they use, I use it at the MSP company. So when I got hired, it wasn't so bad. So I did desktop support at Blackstone Group, and I worked the night shift. So like I was working like from I remember my shift was weird. I had a really weird shift. It was like from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. something like that. It was like 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. It was a weird shift. I had like 10 12. I was doing like 10 11 hours a day or something like that. It was a very very long shift. So I worked at financial services, and yeah, it's actually slow. Like I was not busy at night. So I worked a night shift. That was my night shift. So I would get home like at almost 1 in the morning, literally at that job when I first got that job. I would get home at 1 in the morning, and it was very interesting because I never worked that shift before. So it was from 12 to 11 p.m. and I would get home very late, and then I would go to sleep, wake up the next day, and and then go back to work at 12 p.m. again. So very interesting shift. So I had that shift, and I did that for over a year, and then I got into another financial firm. I got into another financial firm after that. That I did some sysadmin stuff at, and then after that, I got into another MSP company, and then I got a job at the actually one of the best jobs I worked at was financial services. You guys have been looking at me like I'm crazy. Was I worked at financial services for a Japanese company. So I worked at a Japanese company, and I was the IT support. I was the executive IT support for the CEO of that company. So like when he would travel, I would travel with him. So like the guy would go to like Texas, for example, I'd have to go with him. It was like, oh, Kev, you're coming with me. Like, but I have to stay in the office. No, 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 you're coming with me. Okay. So I would go with him. Whenever he travels, I would go everywhere with him because I'm the IT support for the CEO. So I remember and you guys are gonna laugh at me. I remember I was trying to help him with his computer. Um and but I was working on his computer and I couldn't fix his computer because everything was written in Japanese because he's from Japan. And I'm over here with the Google Translator. I'm like taking out my phone and everything. And I'm like, what does this say? What does that say? And I'm trying to fix his computer, but it's in old Japanese. And I'm like, I can't read any of this. Oh my goodness. So I'm trying to fix his computer. Everything's in Japanese. And I talked to the CEO and he said, hey, can you like log in and then like put this back in English? Cause I can't do anything right now. And he's like, really? You can't, I don't read Japanese. Okay. Okay, Kev, I got you. And he would just log in and just put everything back in English. So that was like one time because I had to fix his computer. And another time, and you guys want to laugh. Another time is like, of course, restarting a computer or restarting something fixes all the problems. So I'm over here trying to set up a video call for the CEO of the Japanese company, and I'm there with the CEO, CFO, CTO, CIO, like all the CCCC guys, like all the C-suite guys, with a bunch of executives in the actual room where I just set up the video call, and I'm like over here dialing the video call, like setting it up. I'm like dialing the video call, and it says I'm sorry that number's invalid. Please try again. I'm sorry that valid isn't. I'm valid. That IP address is invalid. Please try again. And I'm putting the number in, and it's not working. I put it again. It's not working. And they're all just staring at me. They're all just staring at me like, okay, why is it not working? I'm like, just like, and I'm over here sweating. Like I'm sweating on the side over here. I'm setting up the video room, and it's not working. And I'm like, and then I'm like, you know what? How about I'll just restart the whole freaking thing? And I restarted the video room, and then it came back up, and then I did the call, and it worked fine after that. I'm like, oh my goodness! All right, there we go. I fixed it. Those are customers that I work with. Like one time, I had a video room that wasn't working. I had to restart the VC room. I had a CFO that his computer was super duper slow, and I had to restart his computer. His computer was up for 120 days, so he had 500 Windows updates, because he has not restarted his computer in over 100 days. So I was like, all right, whatever. So yeah, those are the things that I had to do. But anyway, I'm gonna bug you to go to the next slide, Andrew. Yeah, so like for me, like this is my advice for people that are trying to get into IT support. If you're trying to get into IT support, learn the basics first, like learn the fundamentals. So go get your A+. A lot of these places are asking for the A+. So if you have the money, or if they're giving you the Google IT support certification training that for free, then I would definitely take that and then take the A+ afterwards, because I know people are gonna ask me about that. So Google IT support, I've done both. The Google IT support course training cert is a good one to have. But it's not gonna help you get a job. You have to have the A+ to get a job if you're gonna do IT support. So that's literally what I would do. I would do so if I had to get into IT support, and this is the same method that still works today because the guy that I work with, that's from New York, like me, he literally landed a job. He landed a job like last year. And he's been in that job since this year. He's still in that job, and I helped him land the job. So it still works. So you got A+. So you use Professor Master. You can use Mike Myers. You can use Jason Dion. You can use Tech G. Build a home lab. So build a home lab. Build a home lab. Like set up a home lab in your own computer. You could also volunteer to get some experience in IT. You could work for nonprofit organizations. I work for a couple of them. Like I work for Boost the Books. I work for Rice is Cyber. Like there's also blacks in cybersecurity. There's also women in cybersecurity. There's also women in tech. There's a lot of organizations out there that they actually do free training, or they do mentoring. They do certifications. They give things for free if you go and volunteer for them. Obviously, for getting a job in IT as well, you have to have a good LinkedIn profile. And I always say, like, fix your LinkedIn profile. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is good. And then the last one is network. So it's like networking is important. It's like go to conference events, go to B-sides, go to meetups. B-sides are not expensive. They're like cheap. They're not really expensive. So like I would argue to go to B-sides to network. If you're trying to get a job in IT, is always who you know, not what you know. So whoever you know is the one's going to get you a job. Like the referrals, the references are very important. All right, go to the next slide. So what are the names of the volunteer groups again? So you have blacks in cybersecurity. You have women in cybersecurity. You have women in tech. You have Rice is Cyber. And there's black. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So like, I could send a link. I could send you some links afterwards. But I'm gonna bug you, Andrew, to go to the next slide. If you don't mind. Thank you. Yeah. So if you're trying to build a lab for IT support, I tell you, learn about Active Directory, learn about group policy, learn about NTFS, so shared drive permissions, like how to share folders, how to give people access to certain things in certain folders. If you're trying to get experience with all those things, you could do it on VirtualBox, you could do it on VMware, you could do it on Microsoft Azure, you could do it on AWS. So you could literally set up a VM on Microsoft Azure. They give you $200 credit. Set up a VM with Server 2025, and you can install Active Directory on it and learn about Active Directory that way. And Office 365, if you go on Google and you type Office 365 and you put Office 365 admin trial, they give you an admin trial for 30 days. So you have an admin trial for 30 days for Office 365. And when you get a trial for Office 365, you can learn about Exchange admin, SharePoint admin, OneDrive admin. You could learn all the admin stuff, and you could put all that on your resume. I actually have resume templates that are free on my YouTube channel. I actually show you how to write a resume if you have no experience. And people have gotten jobs using that resume template. I'm not making that up. So I have testimonials of people getting jobs using my resume template on Reddit and also on my YouTube channel. So I would recommend you make sure your resume is tech related. You have a good LinkedIn profile. Also, what I'm gonna recommend, like with the guy that I trained, what he did was he actually made a Medium website, like like GitHub. He made a Medium website and he showcased all the stuff that he knows how to do, and he put it on the Medium website. And he added that link to his resume. That's how he was able to land his first job in IT. So when he went on a job interview, the manager's like, "Oh, what have you been working on? I want to see what you've been doing." And he gave him his resume, and he showed him the Medium website. And the manager was like very impressed by it. The manager's like, "Damn, you know how to do that?" Yeah, damn. Well, I don't have to train you. I don't have to train you then. I could just hire you. And they hired him. They hired him because he had his Medium website. He had a very good resume, and he impressed the hiring manager. That's literally how he got a job. He got his job last year, actually. Literally in February, he got a job. He got 5 job offers after I redid his resume, and he had all that experience, all the stuff that I'm mentioning right now. He had 5 job offers after that, and he got hired. He picked one of the jobs, and he got a job after that. So make sure your resume is good, basically, what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to bug you to go to the next slide, Andrew. Thanks. Yeah, so that's what he did. Like this is an example. This is an example of Ryan Wu. This is the guy that I actually showed. This is a real person. It's not like I made up this person. He had a Medium website, and he put all the stuff that he learned, and after that, he was able to land a job. So it's just an example. And I'll bug you to go to the next slide. So like if you're trying to learn about VMware or VirtualBox, you're trying to do it on your own computer. Obviously, you need to have more than you need to have 16 gigs of RAM. You need to make sure you have sufficient hard drive space, because when you're setting up these VMs, you got to remember that they take up space on your own machine. So your machine's going to be very slow. So you have to have enough memory, enough CPU. You have to have a Windows Pro edition or a Windows 11 Pro edition to be exact. If you try to do these labs, you want to make sure that you have the proper, you have the proper computer for that. Yeah. So I'll bug you to go to the next slide. There's a question. How can you get it? Hey, you go to the next slide. This is just like you go to the next slide. This is just like how to set it up. And like I said, for labs, you learn about Office 365. I don't know if you guys know, but if you go and type Office 365 or Office Microsoft Intune, for example, Microsoft Intune is free for 90 days. So if you want to learn about Intune, that is free for 90 days. So learn about ticketing systems. I talked about ticketing systems. So you can learn about Spiceworks, ServiceNow, Jira. They're all free, by the way. Learn about Active Directory, password reset, disabling accounts, shared drive permissions. You could download the ISO and learn about Active Directory. The ISO, obviously, when you install it on the VM, it's good for 180 days. So you don't gotta go crazy with it, but you could definitely learn IT. So if someone says, "How can I get a job?" So if you want, is that Pat? Pat. Yeah, like I got a job. I use TryHackMe and I use Hack the Box to learn more about blue teaming, and then I got my job from blue teaming through networking. But I'll answer that in a second. Andrew and Bogey, if you go to the next slide. Yeah, so like prepare for the interview. I have like this, like I have a lot of slides. I'm not gonna go over all of them, but obviously if you're gonna go for a job interview, because my slides talk about a little bit of everything, you want to make sure you research about the company, because like the guy that got a job, Ryan, he got a job because he researched about the company. Obviously, show up on time. Practice interview questions with your loved one, your family members, to try to get better at interview, because we're not that, like, a lot of us are not good at interviewing. So what you want to do is, right, you want to go into, like, when you do interviews, go to your mirror and practice interviewing, so that way you're less nervous and less stressed out when you're interviewing. So that's very important. So interviewing is very important. Have a script when you're trying to answer some of these questions. Carry copies of your resume. Has happened to me. I got into a job interview. The guy that literally forgot to print out my resume, so I bought a copy of my resume. I gave it to him. Don't look like you're Googling the answer during an actual interview. I've seen that before. Like one time I interviewed a guy. I asked him a simple question one time, interviewing him, and the guy was like this, and I'm like, I could see that you're Googling the answers. It's like so obvious. He's like looking around, and like this guy. So like, don't do that. Do research about the company. I always say, like, when you're doing interviews, when you're doing job interviews, you're interviewing them like they're interviewing you. So make sure you guys fit well with each other, if that makes sense. I'll bug you to go to the next slide. So make sure you build genuine connections. Add a professional picture of yourself on LinkedIn. I actually have a video about LinkedIn branding. If you guys don't know, I do have a video on that. Don't put a picture of yourself having a party. People have like selfie photos like they're like drinking a party, whatever. Like make sure it's professional, right? When you're setting up your LinkedIn profile, it has to be professional. I'm gonna bug you to go to the next slide. Hitline party. And I say, get yourself a mentor. Mentors are very important. Like if you're trying to get into IT, they are mentors. So like, find a mentor. They keep you accountable for your actions. The mentors you want to look for are people that actually has worked IT. Obviously, if your teacher has never worked IT, well, it doesn't really make sense to get that person the person that has to be a mentor is someone that already has a job in IT. And then talk to that person. Talk to someone. What I find that works too is if you go on LinkedIn and reach out to people through private messaging them and say, hey, listen, I wanna pick your brain. I want to know more about you. I want to know how you got into IT or how you got into cybersecurity. And if you're open to it, I'll buy you breakfast or I'll buy you a cup of coffee or whatever. Like I would pay for someone's coffee or their breakfast if I try to do a call with them or talk to them on Zoom to learn more about what certifications they did, how they got into IT, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna bug you for the next slide, Andrew. I said networking. Networking is important. I would never put pictures of yourself on your resume. Just letting you know right now, I would never do that. Don't do that. Join Discord. Talk to hiring managers. I like vets to industry because vets to industry. It's for veterans and the civilians, right? So like they put you in a room and you're networking with people and it's free. So that's why I like vets to industry. They put you in small breakout rooms and you have to talk to hiring managers and recruiters, and it's free. Like I said, it's free. You could do Toastmasters as well, and you could join conferences like B sides, like B sides. There's B sides New York, B sides Orlando. There's DEF CON. There's Black Hat. So all those conferences, you could definitely join it and put yourself out there. So that's very important. Yeah, so I'm gonna bug you to go to the next slide. So like networking is important, by the way. It's very important. So how did I get a job in cybersecurity? This is gonna answer a bunch of questions for everyone. So I helped other people. I did free training online. I network, and I got hired because I went through a conference event. I literally went to AWS Summit event, the AWS Summit event, where I got my first job in cybersecurity. I got my first job at 701. So you guys don't know. I worked at 701. I was one of the cybersecurity guys at 701. So I got that job through networking. I went to the conference event. I got along with the people that were there, and then I ended up putting someone as a reference. And I remember they had about 200, 300 applicants that applied. They applied for a job. And me, I put this guy as a reference. I bypassed the ATS system and I got the interview. And I got my first job in IT after that. So I'm going to bug you to go to the next slide. So like if you're brand new, like I said, master fundamentals, learn about hardware, learn about software, learn about operating systems, learn the basics, network with like-minded individuals, reach out to people on LinkedIn, create a plan of action, don't go all over the place, and make sure you get the right certifications and the right skills. So like I said, if you're applying for IT support jobs, obviously A+ makes sense. If you're trying to get into networking, obviously the people get Network Plus, or people skip Network Plus and get CCNA. If you're trying to get into blue teaming, which is what I do, some people will get Security Plus and do the CYSA. It really depends. So if that makes sense, like those are the things I would do. I would do those things. I'm gonna bug you to go to the next slide. And then this is free resources for IT support. You could take a picture of it or whatever, and yeah, and that's it. That's pretty much it for me. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for me for the slides and everything. That is my last slide.
Fantastic. Let's
Thank
have one more. Okay, cool. We'll leave
thanks.
it on this one while we're chatting. But no, this was amazing, man. So good to have you on the stream and see you, man. I mean, so a few questions I know that were popping up in chat. You did a great job answering on the fly. But one question I have here is, what was your favorite project you worked on from your home lab?
I think my most favorite one was setting up Intune from scratch. So I had to set up like I didn't know anything about Intune. I do have a course on Intune. I just created a course on Intune that came out recently. So I was learning. I like to dabble down on courses and learning stuff. So I literally got Intune for free for 90 days, and I learned how to set up autopilot, how to deploy applications, how to run PowerShell scripts inside of Intune. I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to help me with certain scripts I didn't know how to run. So it was fun. I really enjoy that. So yeah.
No, fantastic, man. And I mean, I know, but just for everyone else watching, B-Sides Vegas, Black Hat, DEF CON this year, are we going to be seeing you there this year?
hmm Yeah, I should be at DEF CON. Should be fun.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing, man. Where can we find you this year at DEF CON? Where are you going to be hanging out?
Be at the New Village.
Let's go. No, amazing, man. I'm excited, dude. And then fun fact with Kevin that some don't know, he is a avid pool player at the pool halls. So fun little fun fact. How's your pool team been going, man? Any good wins lately?
Yeah, we're in first place right now. So
Nice. No, amazing, man. Well, hey, I don't see any more questions in chat. So, Kevin, before I let you bounce, man, last piece of advice you'd give somebody trying to break into tech support.
for someone that's brand new to IT, when you have no experience, and I'm just saying this from my perspective and from other people's perspective, when you have no experience at all, you're gonna get rejected a lot. When you have no experience and you're applying for jobs, you're gonna get rejected. So you have to have the right mindset, you have to have the right attitude, and you have to have the willingness not to give up. Like literally, like you're gonna be rejected a lot. It's like you're gonna be like, oh, nobody wants to hire me or nobody wants me. But at the end of the day, all you need is to have the right mindset, the right attitude, and just keep applying for jobs. Someone's gonna open the door for you. Once you get that first job in IT, that stepping stone and that experience to put on your resume, you only go up from there. That's literally
Yeah.
how it works. So that's
Yeah.
my advice.
No, golden advice, man. Well, hey, Kevin, thank you so much for getting on and getting to talk to everyone today. Gonna throw you into the back room, but everyone, make sure you can go check out his YouTube channel as well, and that's Kev Tech IT Support. Some amazing videos if you're trying to break in, and amazing great home labs as well. Also, there's a school community and a ton of other things you can check out. But Kevin, thank you so much for coming on, and we will be seeing you at DEF CON, okay?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Okay, well, hey, everybody, we are at the next top of the hour as we're waiting for our next presentation. Same thing, we're going to do a huge shout out, and don't forget why we're here today for Next Gen Cyber Ed. We are looking for any donation to help us get to our 5K goal, and with every $5, that gets your name put in for a raffle to win some amazing prizes. That can be some vouchers from Try Hack Me, that can be certifications, and it can be so much more. And those raffles, I know there was a question on it earlier during the stream, the winners will be